Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Sunday that Ukraine's Air Force pilots had started flying F-16s for operations over Ukraine, confirming the long-awaited arrival of the US-made fighter jets more than 29 months since Russia's attack. The Ukrainian leader announced the supply of the warplanes, which Kyiv has lobbied for since the first year of the war, as he met Air Force pilots at an air base flanked by two F-16s, with two more of them flying overhead. The arrival of the jets is a wartime milestone for Ukraine that caps many months of waiting, although it remains unclear how much of an immediate impact they will have in enhancing air defenses and on the battlefield. And Dasha Chernyshyova now joins us live from Moscow. Dasha, has Russia reacted to Zelensky unveiling those F-16s in Ukraine, considering that until now we saw that Ukraine had relied on an aging fleet of Soviet-era warplanes in this war?
Well, Russia's long-standing position on the supplies of Western weapons to Ukraine has always been that they will not change the course of what Moscow describes as a special military operation in Ukraine, and Russia has been well prepared to this development. The conversation about sending F-16s to Ukraine is not new, and now they are apparently there. The Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has repeatedly said that Russia will be looking at all of those F-16s as legitimate targets of its operation in Ukraine, and it will not distinguish whether those are the carriers of nuclear weapons or not. They will all be regarded as such. They are also seen as the significant escalation of the conflict in Ukraine, with Moscow saying that it will have to demilitarize Ukraine. This is one of the stated goals of its operation. Interesting, though, one of the companies from the Russian Euros a couple of months ago has announced that hitting the first F-16 in Ukraine will be awarded with the reward of 15 million Russian rubles. This is about 17,000 US dollars for the first F-16 hit in Ukraine. So the analysts here expect that there will be the sort of hunt among the Russian military for those F-16s when they get to the skies in Ukraine.
Interesting, you're telling us that Russia is incentivizing the taking down of F-16s. Could these acquisitions by Ukraine change the military equations on ground?
Well, the expectation in Moscow is that that will not change the course of the operation in Ukraine. Again, Russia has been well prepared to this development, but at the same time, if you look at the statements coming from the Western countries, they have all said that Ukraine will be able to strike the targets inside Russia with those F-16s. And this is certainly what Moscow is trying to prevent from happening. And that's why Moscow insists it is creating the so-called sanitary zone, or the buffer zone, in the Kharkiv region, from where most of the strikes against the Russian border regions such as Belgrade, Kursk or Bryansk have been coming. So for the military part and the military analysts who are looking at these things, they are not expected to make a significant change, even though they could be very problematic for some of the targets inside Russia. But for that, again, Moscow says it does have a prepared response, and it is working to make sure that those weapons are eliminated and Ukraine is demilitarized. So we're basically waiting to hear for the Russian Ministry of Defense now to say when they actually hit the first of those F-16s. That's the expectation from Moscow.
Dasha Chernyshyova reporting from Moscow.